beautiful and enchanting DIY ornament that's perfect for your tree. Welcome friends, it's Luba and Gail here. Cheers, we wish you well. These 4.5-inch ornament halves were bought off of Amazon and they're really good quality and they're easy to snap together. First, we're sanding them down with sandpaper. We're using a 400 grit. Anywhere between 100 to 400 grit is good. Then taking a white gesso and painting the surface with the gesso so that it's entirely covered, letting it dry, and then painting it one more time. It takes 2 coats of gesso for this part. You can substitute the gesso with white acrylic paint and white chalk paint. Next, we're using decoupage paper. Decoupage paper is similar to the way a magazine page feels. We're just taking water and tracing around it with a brush to define the edges and make it easier to tear out. We tear the edges so that it blends in better with the surface of the ornament. You can access these materials and links in the description box below the video. Once you've torn out your image and you have it the way you want, you may want to tear inward on the sides where there's little detail so that it's easier to apply to the ornament's rounded form. Otherwise, it will create wrinkles. We'll show this part after we add the Mod Podge. The glue and sealer we're using is gloss Mod Podge. However, you can use satin or matte as well. When using decoupage paper and Mod Podge, we use a little bit different process than we do with napkins. Decoupage paper is thick enough that you can apply Mod Podge to the back of the image and to the front in one sitting. First, we apply Mod Podge to the back of the image. After we spread it out on the ornament, we apply Mod Podge on top to saturate the paper so that it smooths out better. We're still going to get wrinkles on the side, and this is where we decide to tear on the sides. It's a little bit more messy doing it this way. However, we're tearing where the folds are versus where we think they may be. Once we're done tearing the edges and smoothing out the sides, we will smooth out the Mod Podge once more and allow it to dry for a good 2 to 3 hours. So that way there's a barrier between the image and the Mod Podge and we can paint on top of it. Before we get into our color palette and mixing paints, we will start by painting the bottom edge the same color as the back of the ornament. In this case, we're going to use a more contemporary color, which is a light gray. As far as craft acrylic paints are concerned, we like to use top-notch acrylic paints that you can buy at Jo-Ann Fabrics. These paints seem to go on sale once a month, and you can buy 2 for $1. Not only are they cheaper paints, but they also have muted colors that we like to use with the brighter colors, and they match these romantic images well. Luba is applying 1 coat of paint around the image. It will remain choppy looking and transparent. However, this will make it easier to blend the colors from the image into the background ornament color. It's more like an underpainting. Now we will mix, match, and blend the image's colors into the ornament color. We will go into more detail about the color palette we're using. To begin with though, Luba is starting off by just adding a little bit of the dark blue to the ornament and adding a little gray to kind of mix that together and adding a little bit of the green to find the exact color that matches up with the tree branches. Also, we'll add a little black to our color palette so that way we can mute the colors more so it matches up with the image better. We're using a fine point paintbrush to blend the paints together, and it's on the cheaper end. We'll give you a list of the brushes and stuff we use and where to buy them in the description below. Once we find the right colors and start applying it to the image and blending it into the ornament color, it's really relaxing and enjoyable. It's about being in the moment and experiencing it in a timeless atmosphere. And it's just gradually going back and forth, still matching up the colors on the image, bringing it out nearer to the sides, and gradually adding a little bit more gray until it blends directly into the gray. Our palette is a chopping sheet that we got at the Dollar Tree, and it works really well. We can clean off with a paper towel and wash it off and reuse it. It's really awesome. Our colors are set up where we have cool colors across the top and warm colors down the side. Except for the gray, we have white in the corner and the colors range from light to dark in each direction. Here are the top-notch paint colors we're using, starting from the top. Black, light gray, navy blue, moss green, white, saffron, dijon, orange, deep red, and coffee bean. These colors can be combined to create the colors in this image as well as the entire set. We bought our brushes and decoupage paper off of Amazon. Because the dress and the picture and around the knees and looks like it's cut off at the joints, we want to change this. We don't want that look. It takes away from the overall image. So what we'll do is elongate the dress and just blend it into the gray. And in that area, we will use more warm colors. We will extend the dress down into the gray area. We'll start off with using mostly white with Dijon and a tiny bit of the deep red. A little bit of light gray will be used as well to help tone down the brightness of the warm colors. Now that the colors have been blended, we're going back to the light gray only, and we're applying a thin layer of gray around the base of the front half and then painting the back half 3 times so that it's a solid color. By the way, we're using matte acrylic paints. We are sealing the front half with another coat of Mod Podge. To cover up where the 2 ornament halves are joined together, we are making a border using silicone molds and light molding paste by Golden. This golden paste is amazing and it is so much fun. All we're doing is taking a plastic palette knife, scooping up some of the paste and just scraping it into the mold. You want to make sure it's in there well and kind of move the mold around a little bit. It's super easy. You want to leave as little residue on the silicone molds as possible. Otherwise, it will come out like an onion skin and be attached to your embellishment. However, it's easy to clean up. You can see how I'm cleaning it up here and taking some excess from one mold and applying it to the other. Once this mold is filled and finished, allow it to dry for a good 12 to 15 hours, and then it's easy to peel out. Look at how easy it is to peel out here. We will need 3 rings to go around the ornament. By the way, if you like this video, please boop the like button. The molds we use in the demonstration vary slightly from the ones we actually use on this project. We use these silicone molds, which are similar. Unlike clay embellishments that dry hard, these embellishments are still flexible yet durable. When finished, you can paint them with spray paint or brush them with acrylic paints. We painted ours with the light gray paint that we used earlier before applying them to the ornament. Even though it may take longer to hold the embellishments onto the ornament, we love using Mod Podge to glue on our embellishments because it fuses it to the ornament and makes it look like one piece. We cut the borders so that we can stretch them around the line where the 2 ornament halves are joined together. Starting at the top, we hold it down and cover about a quarter of the circumference of the ornament for about 3 minutes. Periodically, we will press down the leaves for the next 10 to 20 minutes. This will take some time because we're training the embellishment to stick to a rounded form. It's easier to start with the middle border. Once the border adheres to the ornament, the leaves are easy to stick down afterwards. Also, you could use something to hold it in place while the Mod Podge is drying, such as hot glue or fabric tack glue. Fabric tack glue would be my preference out of the 2. Then you don't have to deal with the spider webs. We did not use anything to tack down our borders because we want to show you that it can be done with Mod Podge. With that said, we will go back in once the Mod Podge dries and tack down with a tight bond multi-surface glue. The embellishment line is lined up where the 2 ornament halves join together. We'll apply one to the front side and one to the back side. This does take some time. It is time consuming. However, the results are really pretty. We will cut the third embellishment ring into sections to finish the front and back borders. Here's the Tight Bond multi-purpose glue that you can buy at Lowe's and Home Depot. Notice how one area is left open where the girl's face is on the front. We left one branch off to make sure she can shine. Wow, I feel like I'm in that Geico She Shed commercial. Now we'll take the snowflake, paint it light gray, and glue it on with either Mod Podge or Tight Bond multi-purpose glue. Once all the embellishments are glued down, we'll add a nice strong seal of Mod Podge to make sure everything is sealed down solid. This is what will make it look like it's all one piece. It's all fused together. Also, I like to use Mod Podge to fuse the slit between the two borders so that it looks like one border. I'll let this dry for a good hour before going on to the next step. This step involves painting a thick and heavy coat of light gray paint over all the Mod Podge sealant. Now it's easier to see how the two borders are joined together and made to look like one. Now we're just going to take a little bit of this Silver Extreme Sheen from DecoArt and lightly brush it over the embellishments just to make them pop out a little bit. Just lightly. It's okay if it gets on the ornament too. It will just add a little sheen. Pretty, huh? Okay, and then I'll do just a little bit on the front and I'll be a lot more careful on this side so I don't get it down in there. Here's the finalized paint on the ornament with an extra sheen. If you have any questions or ideas, comment below. Please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell for upcoming videos. Check these out.